We've got a few observers over there. Would you like to say who they are? Do you want to say your name and your organisation?
Yes, my name is Maria Kaustretter and I'm the Community Engagement Manager on the Healthy Borough Programme, London Borough of Town.
My name is Michael Gold and I'm supporting 10 Hamlet's Home to deliver a neighbourhood working agenda.
I'm Ronald Bushtack of the Housing Example.
Thank you. Okay. I guess the meeting's over to you really. What I would like to do is just to hear from you about, it could be anything really, it could be that this is a major issue for me, it hasn't been resolved and I need to get it sorted, or this is just how it feels to live here, and something that could be good or bad. But what we do want to do is, we want you to help us think about what's important to you in this locality and what it is that we should be concentrating on. I don't want to say any more than that, I want you to lead it for me and I want you to tell us. It might be that you'll collectively decide there's just one thing that just really needs some attention and that's what we need to focus on. But let's have that discussion. Does anybody want to start? To say what's important to them? What they like? Are we going to have some officers taking some notes? So, do the scribes want to get up and do the scribes? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it'll be good to put in the big things that people.
Yeah, so can you take notes, Charlene? Can you scribe, please?
Yes.
I think I would like to start by just talking about change in culture that I would like to see, that I think would make a big difference to the environment and stuff. And in my thinking about this, I find myself coming back to the idea of respect and responsibility, which is something I've heard already. My feeling is that amongst everybody that is involved in the estate, whether they're a resident or they're somebody that is responsible for delivering a service or contracted to do that, there is the level of respect is not high enough, and there is not enough taking responsibility. I think I could illustrate this in any direction and any way, from what for me I think are quite prosaic concerns, things like stairwell cleaning, things like litter, things like rubbish collection. These are things that bug me incessantly. But whichever way you choose to go into it, what I see is a culture where, you know, the level of the service that's delivered isn't quite keeping the standard up, and therefore you've got an environment which isn't respected, and therefore people who live there all come through it on a Friday, Saturday night and think, well, this is an environment that doesn't need to be given any respect, and therefore I can behave in X way, or I can not respect this rule, regulation, or whatever it might be that would be beneficial. So that's the kind of broad thing that I have, and if there's room for it, I could go into detail.
Okay, well we can open that up. So, does anybody else want to say anything? Agree with it? Agree with it? Any other comments? Yeah, hi, that's really, thank you. We've only just got started, so.
I'm Sabina and I run the Women's Project here.
We literally just sort of did a quick plan of instructions. The majority of people here are residents, and we're just, the residents are just sort of saying what they feel about the area and then you can see the importance to you. What could be absolutely anything, something nasty, something good, something that frustrates you, whatever that might be, kind of so that we can get that up and then start to think about the priorities. Okay, does anyone else want to comment?
Can I talk about what seems to be the inability of different wings of the council to work together with regard to the estate, and particularly the way that's brought to prominence in the transport, the traffic around, particularly around Arnold Circus, because about 3 years ago, Transport for London started, as we all know, using Arnold Circus as a turning circle for the bus. And there's a lot of protests, and people don't like it because it reverberates, it's noisy, it goes on very late at night. And also it's largely empty, so it seems quite pointless. The council was actually, the transport department would like to see it not do it, but seems to have no power. Parks don't like it because it cuts off Arnold Circus. And it seems frustrating, and it's even going to get worse now because Transport for London has got plans to make the single-decker a double-decker bus. And to have a double-decker going around, both cutting off the park and actually creating noise and disruption in the environment is ludicrous. And it seems to be, as I said at the beginning, it seems to throw into prominence the fact that different parts of the council don't seem to work together and don't seem to know what each of them are doing. We've had other examples of that, and that's the most pressing.
I'm glad you said that, Nazim, because I think that's the single biggest issue that faces this estate. And one of the problems at the same time was when they made Shoreditch High Street two-way. So now cars can turn right towards Old Street, and it's basically a wraparound between Bethnal Green and Old Street. And I actually live on the good luck to live on the Circus, and the amount of traffic since, is it 2-3 years since that changed, has increased enormously. And as you say, it's a very special area that we live in, and it's becoming a little island. It's cut off by traffic.
Even though car ownership on the estate is very low.
It's very low, exactly. And I think one of the problems, I looked into this before, it's not just a Tower Hamlets issue, it's also liaising with Hackney, because of course Boundary Road, that's where Hackney starts, and so Hackney's responsible for that particular bit of, well, no, it's TfL as well, but in liaising with Hackney, but that's a problem. Tower Hamlets, I think, liaising with Hackney and TfL.
And the thing is, we've brought this up a number of times with us, and I've just started to try and investigate it and see what's going on. And I think that I think we have to take some responsibility actually. When I dug around and found out what hadn't happened, there was some leeway. There were some things that could have happened probably a year ago that didn't happen. And now I'm trying to get that back to business. We had this money, so being really honest now, so we had a bit of money which was I don't know the roads exactly, but it was the turning where the bus comes in. You've got some bollards here, so there's some bays that we wanted to knock away, so the bus could turn there and not have to come into Arnold Circus. The land is owned by Hackney, and we could have, what we said to Hackney was that if we pay you to do those bays, could you do that and we get the bus moved around? But Hackney didn't respond. Well, we didn't bother out either. So, and there's a little things that make a massive difference. So you've been lobbying on this for how many years? And when I kind of dug around and found out, actually that, so we're trying to rectify that. We also have put in as part of the mayor's consultations that we have objected to paying less money as well. So I'm just saying it's a small thing, but they're the sort of little things that make your lives.
It's not a small thing though.
No, sorry, it's a big thing to that, but the little things that you could have done, they could have made.
It's a perfect example though, because joining stuff up within the council is a big enough challenge, but joining stuff up across the